Hello, this is Matt Green here from Laser DreamWorks. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about how to use my sail making frames to make sails for your ships. So we're going to start off here with the frame. I've already got a thread already threaded through a needle, which you'll definitely want to use. And then I've tied it to my frame. I've just looped it around. You can see there and tie any kind of knot. We're going to start by threading the vertical ropes through here. And we'll bring it down from the top, pull it tight. I put my thumb on top to make sure it stays there, and then bring it up from the bottom. Move your thumb over, hold it tight, bring it down from the top. You want to make sure that all the ropes are on the top, and I'll show you why here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and switch you over because I've already done one here in the interest of time. So here's what it should look like when you're finished. All of the vertical ones should be underneath, and the horizontal ones should rest on top of them, and all of them should be on top of the frame. There shouldn't be any of them on the back of the frame. They should be on top. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is just take normal tissue paper. I bought a pack of tissue paper here. This is just straight out of something you'd wrap a gift with. You could probably use colored paper. So far I've only used the white, but we'll take about 3 or 4 sheets of this so we have some cut, and put your sail that you're going to make on there. You'll cut it about the size of the frame. It's okay if it's bigger than the eventual sail you're going to want, and just sort of roughly cut this to the size of the frame. Okay, so something like that, and we're good with cutting that out. We're going to move on to mixing our glue. Okay, so next we're going to mix our glue. I just use regular sort of craft wood glue, Elmer's or this tacky stuff, and squeeze a good dollop of that in there. Kind of depends on how many sails you're making. You're not going to need a great amount. And then pour water in there, probably about as much water as there's glue. And then I've got an old crappy brush here, and just mix that so that it's a good milky consistency. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is take some of that glue, and we're just going to wet down the ropes here for your sails so that they're sticky. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I should have mentioned to make sure that you're doing the top side of the sails so that the rope is coming up out of your frame. You know that's your top side. Okay, then once you have that wet, then take a single piece of your paper and just lay it down on top, and press it down across your frame so that it sticks to each of those ropes. Then take a larger brush, something that's kind of soft, and it'll hold a fair amount of that glue. And then you're just going to gently rub the glue on here. You don't want to poke at it because it'll go through that first layer of tissue paper. Just cover the glue or the tissue paper all with that glue. Got a little hair there. Get that off. Okay, you should start seeing that paper sag in the middle. Okay, that's kind of cool. We want it to be able to have that texture there. And again, this time work from the middle so you can kind of push the air bubbles out. Now, so far I've only used 2 layers when I've done my sails, and that seems to have worked fine. You can make it a little thicker by adding a 3rd layer if you want. Okay, and once that's done, we're going to set that aside and let it dry. Okay, so once you've allowed that to dry for a while, it should be nice and tight on there. You can see how it's sort of tightened up. Go ahead and flip that over, and then I do one more coat on the other side using that watered down glue, just to make sure that all those strings are nicely glued to the tissue paper. And then turn it back over and let it dry again. Okay, so we're back. We've allowed this to dry a little bit. Now we're going to add a reinforcing strip along the top where you'll eventually sew the sail to the yard. So all I've done is taken a piece of regular typing paper and cut a thin strip that's basically covers the area between the top rope of the sail and then the frame. And we're going to glue that up onto this top part. And then that'll just give some strength there when you start sewing it so the thread doesn't rip out. And then my cat's going to come visit and probably be really curious while I put one final layer of tissue paper down. And we glue that again on top just using that watered down glue. Fortunately, the cat's not drinking watered down glue, but likes my paint water. I'm probably a bad father. And again, we'll set that down and let it dry. So our last step is to cut the sail out, and we're going to use our sail pattern and get it lined up so that it's on the bottom row of the rope there. And with a really sharp knife, then we'll just cut through. And that should go all through those ropes. And if we did that right, we should have a sail. And it should be nice and flexible and allow you to bend it to any shape you want. So the last thing I would do then is hit that up with some spray paint to get it the color you want. And you're ready to stitch that under your yardarm.